I grew up in San Bernardino in an interfaith family. And, there aren't that many Jews in San Bernardino. So statistically speaking, I shouldn't be as Jewish as I am. I shouldn't be working in the Jewish world or involved in the leadership and Jewish nonprofits like JQ. But here I am. And sometimes I ask myself, how did I end up this way? I had bought into the script of our society. Nice Jewish boy meets nice Jewish girl, you get married, you have kids, live happily ever after. I really, really tried to make that story work for myself. One of the things that I reflect on is that it was actually safer and easier for me to play up my Jewish identity and downplay and ignore my queerness and my gayness. But what I didn't realize is that I was actually cleaving onto the very thing that would allow me to be my full self. That's Jewishness. That's Jewish values. I was turning to a tradition whose central precept is v'ahavta l'reacha kamocha. Love your neighbor as yourself. And then underneath that, love yourself. How can you love your neighbor without loving yourself? That is a concept that queer people need to hear. I came to terms with myself mostly intellectually at first. A lot of that started to happen when I moved here to LA and built an even more expansive community of queer Jews. I found myself in the education nonprofit sector, eventually leading an education nonprofit. And I had a friend who connected me with Asher Gellis, our CEO. It was really then that I learned that there's an organization building community and providing services for LGBTQ Jews and our allies here in Los Angeles. So when Asher invited me to be part of the board, I couldn't say no to the opportunity to continue to participate in what I think is an absolutely revolutionary idea, that queer people can bring our full selves to our Jewishness in all Jewish spaces, and that Jewish spaces get enriched by our queerness. That is something that speaks to me so deeply. I talk to people who have had loved ones come out in their lives, and one of the questions they ask me is about kids and what family looks like as a queer person and as a queer Jew. During the pandemic, I had a queer Jewish friend approach me, and she honored me by asking if I would help her have a child by being a known sperm donor. So I said yes. When I was in the process of coming to terms with my decision, I turned to my mentors and my community, especially within JQ. I knew people who had blazed this path before me, and I could not have done it without that support. One of my most cherished memories of being involved in JQ was the Pride Parade, the weekend of the tragic attack at the Pulse nightclub in Orlando. And I remember waking up on Pride Sunday here and reading the news and bursting into tears. I eventually got myself out of bed and went to the JQ Pride Brunch. At the Pride Parade, we'd asked our teens who had come to celebrate Pride to be right there, right on the sidewalk. And I got to see these young people, many of whom it was their very first Pride Parade, clinging to each other, finding community with each other, finding strength, and being their true selves with other Jewish teens. Out of this tragedy came beauty. The kind of queer Jewish joy that JQ helps to facilitate and that we are celebrating today, that's nothing short of world-changing. We have to invest in this queer Jewish joy because it benefits all of us, our broader society. When I think about the kinds of support and community building that JQ does with our teens, the kind of stuff that would have been absolutely transformative for me when I was a teen, we have to invest in that. It's an act of hope.